Hey there, dirt bike people. I'm Chuck from TrueTech, and today I'm going to be doing my best to repair one of these shocks. These are actually off of a sled, and these two went without a hiccup, and this one, the shaft, is all pitted. Now this presents a whole stupid list of problems. First off, in order to get these seals from Walker Evans, which that's the brand of these shocks, by the time that I ordered them, had them shipped, paid the duty and brokerage, it would have been about the same as buying whole new shock assemblies, which is totally dumb. So instead I called Carver Performance, and I just got the rebuild kit for these. Just contains all the seals in there. It was cheap. I thought I was off to the races until I took this one apart and realized that this shock looks like this. So I called and inquired about getting a new shock shaft. First of all, it's going to take forever to get, and second, again, it would be cheaper to buy a whole new shock. And why would I keep the customer waiting probably 4 or 5 weeks with a really expensive solution to the problem? While I was doing my apprenticeship, we did lots of stuff like this. In fact, back in the day, we did so much of it that we had shock shaft in stock in 12 mil, 14 mil, and half-inch. Now, the shop where I did my apprenticeship doesn't technically exist anymore, but I figured I would make a phone call and see if some of that old shock shaft was still laying around. Ta-da! I bought 5 feet of half-inch chromed shock shaft. Now, the beauty of this is I can make a whole bunch of shock shafts with it. The catch, of course, is I'd have to machine it myself. The other sneaky little tidbit is that half-inch shock shaft is not actually half-inch. It's more like 498 thou or 97 thou. It's 2 or 3 thou thinner than true half-inch shaft. And you got to be super careful. Sometimes when you buy aftermarket shock shafts, they are the true diameter, and you get a whole bunch of stiction from that shock shaft. No big deal. I've got my new shock shaft cut roughly to length, a little bit oversized. Now, it would be best to do this using a collet chuck, but this chrome is tough, so I'm just going to wrap it in a bit of paper. Now, first I'm just going to clean up that end. Now I'm going to put a little bit of a bevel on this. Now I'm going to mark where the end of this goes. I'm going to put a little bit of a groove in that. So that's where my threads are going to end. Now I'm going to bring in my tailstock here, slide on my die. Now I'm going to do most of this by hand, a little bit of lube. This is a half-inch 20 die. Now I'm going to lock the lathe. I'm going to get rid of this. And so that's why I put the paper. It's starting to spin, and if at this point I have to take it out of the lathe, that's totally fine. This is why a collet chuck is really nice. Now I've got my die started, so I can be sure that I'm going straight. I'm going to move my tailstock out of the way. Now it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to be careful and keep on tapping. So the first little bit's the most critical, so that I don't get this thing sideways. See, I've got it clamped in this aluminum jaw, and that's going to make sure that it's not going to damage anything. This is cutting really nicely. Cut down to my line that I made on the lathe. There we go. Very nice. One end done. Now I'll just make a mark. Here was my Sharpie. This doesn't have to be super accurate. Got 2 marks here. One for the very end of the shaft, and one where that goes. Now I'm going to clean up this end up to my mark. Now I'm just going to give myself a visual reminder here how far to machine to. And I got to go to 372-ish. Now we are at 383. Let's see, I'm sure I'm going to be a little smaller here. Yep, about 2 thou. I'm going to go in 10 thou. A little smaller yet. Voila. Now we'll clean up that inside a bit. And give a bit of relief here for the seal. That's important. A little bit here. I'll just make a rough mark here, go about to there, little groove. lock our tailstock, lock the chuck. I'll unlock my tailstock. I suppose I could just continue to do this in the lathe, but I'd rather not put that stress on the shaft. Back over here, this one's not as critical because it just has a nut on it. Voila, one shock shaft. Now we'll put this clevis back on, a little bit of red Loctite. There we go. Now a little bit of grease on those seals in there. Now because I beveled this, I'm not worried about damaging the seals. Our washer, compression stack, our piston, rebound stack, a little bit of Loctite, and our nut. Perfect. Now the rest is just basic assembly, although it is a little bit tricky with these because you got to set this piston height. So I didn't have any specs for this, so it took me a little bit to figure out this piston height, but basically if you get it wrong, the shock's not going to collapse all the way. So now we have a sealed chamber below this piston. So what we need to do now is relieve the air pressure in that chamber so we can push our piston down. So I've got a hypodermic needle here. I'm just going to stick it in this little valve down here. I did grease this piston seal, by the way, and what I've come to is 165 millimeters for this piston height. Now I'm going to remove this needle because I want to keep that air chamber sealed in there, and I'm going to fill this up. Now I can't bleed this with my vacuum bleeder, but it is not a big deal. First of all, the performance of this shock is pretty low, so nobody's going to notice if there was air. And second, I've bled tons of shocks this way. I can get a real good bleed on them. So right now I'm just bleeding any air that might be underneath the piston. Now I'm going to top this up to basically where the threads start in here. Stroke it a couple more times, make sure all the bubbles are out. When I put this cap down and start threading it in, I'm going to get some fluid coming out of those threads there. There it is. You see there's fluid starting to squeeze out. All right. There we go. That's what we're after. Now I'm going to put my valve core into my needle setup, puncture that valve there, open up my nitrogen tank. Actually here, let's see if I can kind of clamp this in there. So I'm going to screw this adapter together. I'm going to open my little valve here, and this should go all the way out. Now I'm going to close the Schrader valve. There we go. Now I always do a final test. Push it down. It should collapse all the way and come back out all on its own. Very good, just like that. Okay, now we're on the home stretch. Install the spring, install that little keeper. Check my preload. There we go. Simple as that, not a big deal. The most difficult part of that is just having the network and knowing how to get that weird stuff like that. Every bike shop should have a lathe. Super simple, matter of minutes. If you like this type of content, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me on Instagram as well. Every now and again on Facebook and TikTok too. I don't have time to respond to a whole lot of DMs and comments and things like that. So if you want to get in touch with me directly and get a whole bunch of other stuff too, like courses and a discussion group, you can find that in the True Tech community. I'll link that below. Thanks a lot for watching.